Hi, guys. Yes, the way I do this is just me. So now I've got this thing in my hand and I see myself. Just try to overlook what you see. I see. Just depends on what you compare to. I'm not a young spring chicken, but I sure don't like these wrinkles. And my my treatments are partly responsible because they're stopping my production of hormones. This is Lou. It's November 15th. Oh, my Lord. Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then New Year's, and then Valentine's, and then what's after that? Is there a leprechaun day in there somewhere? Like in March? I don't know what all the things are, but I do know that we're in the holiday season. And time literally flies by. Okay, so I thought maybe, I don't know how it's going to work. I've got you on this camera behind my sewing machine, but that's really not going to work. You know what? I might could put you on the ring today. I'm going to go ahead and sew this row that I just did onto that quilt. And if I decide not to add something to it, then all I'll have to do once I do that is I have to bind that row, which isn't as easy because it's all the way across. It's not just a block. You know, like before I was adding blocks. And then I did add rows. But it's on the last row, so it's big, and I'm not prepared. I've got all this stuff. I really should clean off this cabinet over here. Because before I'm done, I will knock it off the cabinet because this quilt is big. Although, it folds up really nice. I should show you. So before I'm done, I need to clean off a few things there. The room is small, so when I clean something off, it's got to go somewhere else, you know. But when you have no option except for to knock everything off, then you have to do something. It's Saturday. Dance to the music. If you've been watching me, then you know that I make references to songs all the time. I'll be talking and a phrase comes out and it reminds me of a song, and then I'm singing the song. So I don't know what to say about that. And I do not want to undo this quilt, but I decided I really do need to finish it so that I have something I have finished. I guess that doesn't sound really great, but you know, I've got a lifetime of experience with me, and I was obsessed by macrame, let's say. So once I actually learned how to do macrame, then I went to town, man, just like I'm doing with the quilts. So for this is better. This is much better because I'm not ruining my fingers and stuff. I would pull on these knots, and I was using, I wanted to say hemp. I don't know what you call that. Jute. Anyway, it's rope and it's fibers, and when you're pulling, I peeled my skin off, so I finally started wearing some gloves. I clipped off the fingertips. I seen that Jessica was, I don't know when I first started. Oh, when I very first learned, it was at church. I went to a women's meeting and we learned how to tie a square knot and how to do a few knots. So with that little teeny bit of learning, I went home and went crazy. I was excited about everything I did because it was a creation and I just thought it was wonderful. So it's kind of like the same thing with this quilt. It's been an experiment. So having it come together is like think of the word that I shouldn't say. You've been building up to something, and it finally comes together. There's that joy. And pride probably too, but not for that context I was talking about. I have to move this stuff because I know what's going to happen. I will have a big old mess if I don't. Let's see. I could put it over there, I guess. I'm just going to see if I can't do this while I'm on here instead of stopping. I guess I could hit that pause button, huh? Okay, I'll do that. I'll be back. Hi, guys. I used that little pause button. I used it the other day, but I was gone too long and it shut off. So, looks like it's still working. Yes, it is. It's counting. So, I keep using that word, S-E-W, so, you know, but that's the other word I'm using. Anyway, I don't have a lot of room in my room because I keep putting stuff in it. And the reason I say that is because I need room to lay out this quilt. I want to show you the quilt is the deal, but I'm going to have to leave that there. Okay, we'll just have to improvise because this is going to be a little on the different side. Okay. Hi. The other day, someone commented they liked my rug, the colors of my rug. And I'm going, how come they said rug? You know, because it's a quilt. But I went back and listened to the video. And it was talking about the fact that these were going to be mug rugs. So that would be where the rug came in. And the way I'm connecting it, I have seen online. And it makes it where I can do this by myself. It is a process. But hey, it's cool. So I'm going to show you this thing. And then I've cleaned off the cabinet over here. I need to move one more thing. I just got stuff. And I have this fetish about containers and bags. And, you know, we save the weirdest things, but that's how I am. So I'm not quite ready to just get on this, but I am. See, yesterday I didn't have those extra blocks done. So I had to do 3 of these blocks and trim them and all that stuff. And then I laid them down and sewed them together and binded them while I was doing something else. I could have been doing a video for my channel, or I could have been doing a video sharing with somebody else. But nevertheless, I love this thing. I don't know how heavy it's going to be when it's laying on top of you. It might be heavy. So that's a thought. Because what I'm doing now is cutting out squares. And if I had not already started cutting and have a bunch of 6 by 6 inches, I would have maybe made it bigger. I'm not sure. The 6 inches just seems to be good. And even though, as I go, it will seem like I'm doing overkill or a lot more than I need to. But I think if you put the processes together, no, I'm not. But there are some really great processes that I've been seeing out there. Sorry about my hair. should put a bonnet on it. I wouldn't mind having a bonnet. And that's something I could make too. I want to find something that there's a market for that's easy to make, that I can produce and to make some money. In the long run, you need to make some money. You can't just be spinning your wheels. So, just depends, you know, if a person needs money or not. Because if I didn't really want to gain some money, I probably wouldn't do this after I'm done with my cause. Because my intentions, my plan is to try to make nice quilts for my grandkids and my daughter. And she's the one that mentioned it. And we both just clicked with it because I've been trying to figure out what I could sew and sell. But I wasn't thinking about quilting to sew and sell because that's a big deal. So it's an experiment is the point. And I'm really liking it. And you can pick out different colors. It's all for you, whatever you want to do. And I've decided that I will do 6-inch squares. And then you need, so the 6 inches, the material on the front, the batting, and then the backing needs to be 2 inches bigger. Now, I'm not going to say 2 inches bigger all the way around, but what it is so I have 6-inch squares, so 8-inch squares. And I almost think it should be, and I need to remember that I think I want to go a little bit bigger than the 8 inches, just so you have plenty of room to turn that material over. But then you don't want too much material to turn because then you'll have bulkiness. So right now it's worked pretty good. And I just figure in the long run, I think it's going to be very well done. Meaning it's not going to come apart. And hopefully that's the only thing I'm worried about is how heavy it might be. The part that's close to you, I mean, there's ridges on this front, okay, with all the binding. But the part next to you is smooth. But then again, if you decided you wanted to turn it around, I'm just not sure what I'm going to be doing with this, my squares, because my brain's getting carried away thinking, well, I could have a little design on the back too, instead of just solid. But then it could look tacky. So I don't know. But this front has turned out gorgeous. And it's not done because I've still got to connect that. What I did yesterday was I sewed those 3 blocks together, got them trimmed up and stuff, and then I pulled what I needed and made a row. I knew that I wanted blue on one end and blue on the other end. There's only going to be 3 red ones on this one and 4 blues. Now, I want to move my chair. Supper. There's probably stuff in my way. Okie doke. So just pay attention. This is how it's folded up. It's actually folded up really nice. In other words, it's not big and bulky and it's dense, but that's a lot of layers. Okay? So, as you're seeing, they're pretty bold. Okay, so before I go, that probably is what I need to do. Okay, see, so that's the sample of a row. Let's see, that's pretty wide. So it's going to cover the person pretty good. It's bigger than a throw. I was just going to kind of make it like a throw. Okay, so there's where I pinned it together. And I've got to sew that. And for now, I'll leave it all folded up and see if that works. So, like on the new quilts that I'm gonna do, I mean, what I've been doing is preparing because I've been cutting squares. And I've got a whole bunch of them put together. Where did I leave them? I got stuff here, there, and yon. But I've got one of these boxes from the bottom to the top full of squares that are already sewn. But the thing is, I want more variety. I want to be able to, I'm going to have a lot of squares. And I really don't know how many. I probably should try to figure that out too. But I just been in production. So last night I cut gray because Kevin wants gray and Shea Bear wants gray. Gray and black for both of those guys. That's good. So anyway, I've just been busy cutting squares, and I cut some 6-inch ones and some 8-inch ones so I can do the reversal. The 8-inch ones will end up being the ones that are on the back of the quilt, the ones that are close to you. Just saying, if you had it laying on top of you. I hope it's a comfortable quilt. But these new ones are definitely going to be lighter weight because they won't have all the seams down the middle. What they're going to have, what did I do with them? They're way over there. What they're going to have is just a crisscross. And I don't have any of them right here with me, but I have a stack of them finished. When I say finished, they're ready to be hooked together. They're ready to be laid out so you know where you want your stuff. And then you can put a row together. And then you can make all those rows, and then you connect those rows. And as you connect those rows, you're done with that part. It's already got its batting, it's already got its backing, and it's pretty. It's really, really cool. But the thing is, it will be a lot lighter because we won't be adding seams. Oh, that's where I sewed that together. It's really cool. You know, you do need to put out your problems there a little bit. Someone might can help you out. I had cut into the material. I don't think I can really show it to you very good, but see, that's the beauty of it. I was thinking in my brain, okay, how can I fix this problem? So I'm thinking I'll go get some tape, some iron-on tape or some type of a patch, because it was at the end of a row of 7 pieces, and I wasn't going to be able to use the row, and that's a lot. It's 12 inches by 7 inches each piece, so I'm not really quite sure. 7 times 7, 49, so it's 49 inches across is all. That doesn't seem like a lot, does it? Seems like it when I hold it up. Seems plenty big. So anyway, we'll just say that finished will be 49 inches because there's 7 of these blocks in a row. So 49 inches by 6 feet is what it should end up being if I do not add anything to it. So 49 inches is basically 1 inch over 4 feet. So 4 by 6. And see, I could add another row and make it a 4 by 7. But we're going to test it out. I'm going to add this row to it. And I guess I won't bind it yet, because I need to bind it when it's done. I'll go from top to bottom, and then top to bottom, and then over across. I'll bring it down. We're talking about binding the quilt. So I love this thing, really. I hope it is not too heavy because I don't like heavy. So I was going to show you what I did. Get back to my little story. Was just telling Jessica what I had done and showed it to her. And it's just this little teeny place, and it's a slit right on the edge, and it just ruined the whole thing. And she says, just sew it together. I didn't even think about that. You know how simple a remedy for my problem. So I'll show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, which that's the beauty of it, like I said. Okay, so we're going along here, okay? And then right here, there's this little place that's different. But when it's all said and done, this is going to be folded over, okay? So there's just this little teeniest spot here that will have a problem. But it is one piece now. So I was really, really grateful for her input because it solved the problem. Okay, I know. I need to go ahead and get about my business and quit chit-chatting. It has been a while, though, since I really actually did. And I'm not sure how this camera business is going to work because I haven't used my ring in a while. Well, I can do that. Put you above the sewing machine. Ow. Do 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 do. Hey, hey. You're so far away. Hey. Yes, my voice goes up and down. I be yodeling. Okay, let's see. Now you're way up there. I got you on top of a box, but maybe I should, I don't know. Let's see what we can do here. Stay in place. We'll just kind of play a game here with my camera. Okay, so it's still doing its thing. And you can see my quilt. My quilt. So, I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to leave it I don't think I am. So I've got it pinned together, okay, and then some of it didn't just fit quite right. So I have to, what do they call that? I'm going to move this over this cabinet, like I said. So what I'm going to do is attach this row to my quilt. To my experiment. This is a whole lot of mug rugs, because that's what I was going to do. I was making mug rugs, which are a small placemat. Just really cute. And like with some people, my grandson, he's got a glass, oh, I've tied it upside down. He's got a glass table in his living room. I need to move this around. Da-da-da-da. Actually, maybe I could just do it like that. Ha! What a trip. You know, sometimes things happen by accident, and there you are. That's what you needed to do in the first place. Okay, so see, I've got the pins all pinned on one side, and it wasn't this. I was going to pick up that end and start, but I'm going to pick up the other end, and then the pins are on the right side. Now, I do. My eyes are a little blurry, and I'm going to be edging somewhere, so we're going to look. And I've got strings, which I don't want to get caught up in my machine. Do, 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 do. Okay, people. Here we go. It is beautiful. And I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to use it as a rug because people would stamp on it. And this would have to be a barefoot and socks. But then you don't want stinky socks on there either, do you? Okay, lift up this thingamabob. And I do have an inch gauge on my machine. It's pretty cool. I don't know what other machines have. It's been a while. So I have more pens than I need in this, but I just want to make sure. Where's my fine? Way over there. My power. Power to the love people. Okay, I gotta hold these strings because this is vital. Just to get that started without it drawing that thread up through the needle to where I have to rethread. You don't have to rethread the whole thing, but you do have to get it through the eye of the needle. That's where I have a problem. Okay, so we're just attaching that row. Okay, come on. You're going to end up coming my way. This is the one that's got to go that way. Okay. Okay. Let's just see here. Da-da, da-da. Okay. See, I've lined up. I've lined up the seams. Where the blocks come together. Whoops. Alright, I got a pen I gotta remove. I saw a video the other day where the woman said the needle went through her finger. I'm going, how did that happen? But it can happen. And I think I just remembered that, and that was the first one, but I don't think I did it all the time. And that is maybe go ahead and lock stitch at those seams to make it stronger. As I mentioned the other day, what happens, you know, if that comes undone and it just unravels all the way across because it's such a long seam. So I bet it's good to go ahead and... The reason I lifted it up just then was because my binding, if you can see it, you can't really see it, but the binding, as I got close to it, kind of bunched up right there. So I released some pressure and folded it back down because it was going to pucker up my seam if I did not. I've got all these hairs. I don't know if they're hairs or what they are. Okay, but we're moving them off. All right, here we go. Now I'm on that seam, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a lock stitch. So if anything was to come undone, it would stop at a certain point. It wouldn't go all the way across. My head wants to kind of hurt a little bit. We don't want that either. That worked out perfect. I mean, I didn't do it on purpose. It was by accident, but the way this is laid out is perfect. Because as I sew this is going across the top, and then it's taking up a whole lot less room because it's folded. The bottom will end up being, the bottom's coming up to be the top. I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying. Now that's a problem. Okay, no, it's not. The material looked like it looked like the mug rug had material going all the way to the bottom, but it's not, because it's the backing. The backing is in the materials too, so it just kind of threw me for a second. Okay, now I'm going to cross another seam, so I'm going to do that back stitch again. Stronger. Okay, now we want to straighten this out. We want to straighten our thing out. And sometimes, like right now, you don't always want to pull, but since my top and my bottom, because I'm matching the seams, okay, matching the seams, so in between, that space needs to lay flat. And if it can't lay flat, you kind of do have to stretch it, because fabric does stretch a little bit. Anyway, so we will see. Like this one was trying to pucker up. We don't want that. Okay, so what I've got to do here is pull from the bottom. Get some of this over here. And that's going to go over there. Okay. Okay. All right, we're at another crossroads here. Yeah, too bad. I don't know how to get around that. Have music playing, you know, instead of me singing. Might be nice. But if it plays something that I like, I'd be singing with it. That's the power of music. I mean, there is some power there. To be able to enter someone's head and penetrate it so deep that it just pops up and you sing it when you think of a line that's in it. You're daydreaming about your love, thinking all these things, and the next thing you know, there's a song coming out of your head. Because it's a file that's in there. My ear was itching. Okay, let's see. Do-do-do-dum. I'm almost done with putting it together, but then the next thing is I have to bind it. But if you do it in the steps and don't get carried away and put the cart before the horse, then it works out okay. Like they said, the heaviness is on one side and the sewing machine is over here. This is definitely, it's a nicer machine. But I don't know its capabilities because I haven't explored. You know, it takes reading the manual and doing. So I did the bare necessities. I learned how to thread my machine, thread my bobbin. And I'm still testing the waters as far as the power of this pressure foot. Now, it's not the pressure foot, it's the power foot, I should call it. That thing that you push with your foot that promotes power. Okay. I haven't tried any of the other feet. It came with some things. But it's just, it takes time to do all that learning. Okay, now I've got to move something here. Dagnabbit. Okay, I'm just going to have to pick that up. And I'll still use my tweezers to get that pin out. Yes, they can go over pins, but sometimes if it goes just wrong, it'll break your needle, so there's no sense taking a chance. If you know there is a chance, you know. You know. Strings. I need a pair of clipping scissors. I'll get that later. I just don't want it to go through the bobbin and stuff. Okie doke, we're going to cross over this bridge, and then we're going back, and we're going to lock and stitch. And some might say that's overkill, but I just say it's probably a good idea. Now let's see, how does this work? They don't match up very well. See, I'm on the very last one, but there's a pucker going on. There's a problem going on. Okay, we're just gonna make it work. Make sure everything's going on here. Okay, so I've been able to pull it out. Stretching the fabric though to make it work. So I have it pinned into place, so that helps. I want my squares to match. I call them squares, but they're not square, they're a rectangle. Okay, wait. We gotta pull that again. my pen. Let's see where it lays. Okay. The sewing, attaching them to each other is done. Now, the binding is what remains. And that's all the way around it too, not just the in-betweens. Okay, so can you see it okay? A little bit. I'm using my little teeny mug rag over here. I got too many things. I got to clean off everything. Let's move this stuff over. I'll have to figure out what I can do with this. This is nice and thick. So I know that there's a good crafting project for that. And yes, I will be saving that. When I can see a good use for something, I have a hard time throwing it away. Okie doke. So what we have here, it seems like it's bigger than any 49 inches, but I don't have measuring tape. I'm just, can you see my arms? This is how big it is across. It's not that big. It just seems that big. Okay, so 1, 2. It definitely covers me. I think I could have stopped at 6 blocks. 6 times, but that's still not very big. Because 6 times 7 is 42. So 49 inches is better. Just hope it doesn't turn out too heavy. Okay, so what I have to do, I've just added this row right here. See, so you can see the fabric still hanging out and all that stuff. But what's going to happen is I will fold these into place, and then this fabric will fold over, and then I'll fold it in half and then sew it. And so it'll become attached like these other rows. See, there's some binding right there. Blue on one side, red on the other. So then before I'm done, we'll be binding the outside also. And that'll be the end of it. Unless I decide to add another row, which I could do. I just don't know if it's overkill. So I do have the material to make up more. Plus I've got one already done that might work. But I kind of like the idea of adding the squares instead of more stripes. I don't like stripes. But what I have in those 6-inch squares that I was talking about, they are backed. I have some backed with the same material. And I would add them together in the same manner. But they're 6 inches instead of 7. This is 7 inches when you're done. But it still would look good. And the point I'm trying to make is that I have squares out of this material, and this, you know, this is the same, but I ran out of it for my stripes. And I have squares out of this material and this material. Meaning the part that would show on the front as you add it together can be a lot of the same material that's in this quilt. And like I said, this is not perfection, but it is to a point. Let's see, like right there, I can see where I need to go and add. I went off my seam. I'm not taking that apart to make it perfect, but I might want to go ahead and stitch right there, because it went off the seam. I'm not saying that very well either, because it's not really the seam that's going off of. Anyway, I can see an end to this quilt. I mean, meaning finished. And I started to say that earlier. Part of my problem with not getting things finished is I go ahead and start something else. My brain won't let me stop thinking. I need to work on that. So that piece that I sewed together is going to work out wonderful. So she cannot say that I never listened to her. She said that before, and I said, I do too. And I do. But we just need to let people know that we do, I guess. You know, let them know that we appreciate their input. Sometimes it just depends on how they give their input. As if we want to receive that. So you gotta be tactful. I'm not so tactful. So I'm just wondering if I want to add another row. I will be pinning this down. And I do have my iron now. It's in the box. I need to get it out. And it is a compact one. It's not a big one. But I can do it without ironing it, because that's what I have been doing. You do a finger press. Open it up with your fingers. And then little by little, I just pinned the whole thing. I just went up and down and pinned the whole thing. And then you've got these intersections that you line up, so that part is a lot easier than, you know, because you can go along and start rolling or something and lose your material and all kinds of stuff. So this, it works really good. I am on the edge of this desk though. However, that's kind of nice, and that worked. Okay. Do. Okay, so let me see here. So I'd have to go lay it down on the bed. Can you see this? Whereas these are all going horizontal. I could put a layer. I could add a layer of the stripes going up and down. And it would just add, this would actually add 7 inches. So it would be 6 foot, 7 inches if I do that. And that might be cool. I don't know. We figured I would go ahead and finish off. I'll finish the intersection of the one I just put on. I'll get that bound, and then have someone sit on the couch or lay on the couch and see how it covers them up as to whether I add any more. But I could. I've already got it made if it'll actually go across. And see what it is. Is this going to be an inch short? Because if I leave it like it is, it's 48 inches. It'll be 48 inches when it's all said and done. And the other one, when it's all said and done, will be 49 inches. So that's, I mean, I could take and stretch the material and make it work. But then it's gonna, it'll draw back in. It'll draw back in a little bit, but what is an inch over 49 inches? Turn in 49 inches into 48, and then it's over 7 different spaces of material. It's doable. I'll have to do some stretching, making sure that it will work. But it will. And I'll just make that end the part that goes around your feet. So, okay, this end where you see the little pucker in, that's for your feet to fit in. Anyway, it is an idea because it is already made. And it matches, the backing matches. And I'm not going to take these apart to make a mug rug. I did think, and it is true, it might work. Table runners. Jesse said something about that, you know. And I was thinking I need to get that Insel Bright or something that reflects heat. But it's true. How many times do we lay a towel down and put something on top of it that's hot? You know? I wouldn't want to scorch my material. I don't know if that's a possibility. But the point is, this could lay down across the middle of the table. Okay, see it. 48 inches long. So, I mean, I could make it just be a table runner 48 inches long. And actually, that'd be kind of cool. Depends on if she'd think it looked gaudy or something, or if she'd like it. It is pretty neat. But see, I love the material, so there you go. There you go. Do 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 do. I wonder if I should sew it on there or leave good enough alone. I will just think about it. But this is nice, and it could very easily attach to my quilt. I do need to clean up my room. Okay, so that's going to be a problem there a little bit. I've got the material not matching, meaning the padding, backing spine is the batting and the top. Okay, so I guess that's what I'll do. I will just pin these. And I know, boring. So what should we talk about? So I'm going to put this straight up and down so I can better do what I'm doing. It is beautiful, isn't it? Can you see it? What I'm going to do now is, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to be taking these and flapping them over. And I'm just going to finger press. But what I'm going to do is these parts that I've sewn together at the intersection, I got off my intersection a little bit there, but I did it on purpose. Okay. Because I had that big difference in puckering and stuff going on. So I just decided I'm moving it over. Well, that's what I did. I need to find those steel pins and needles. Sounds like they stay sharp forever. And they are way sharp. So you wouldn't want to stab yourself. Go right through your finger, I bet. Do 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 do. Okay, so I'm just doing it little by little. That's just all you can do. in my case. I don't know about other people's, what their gadgets are. You know, somebody who has an actual quilting sewing machine. But so I have to kind of stretch this out here when I'm sewing it. And see, what's going on right now is I'm putting the needles, oh, that hurts. I'm putting the pins facing that away. Facing that away. So all the pins will be facing that away. And then what will happen is I will, sounds like I got a dog I need to take care of. I'll start sewing this binding from that end this way. So I'll be running into these pins and taking them out. and they stabbed me last night, so yeah, they'll probably stab me. But that's what we're gonna do. Pin this all the way with the pins going in the same direction, meaning both sides. I'm gonna do this side and the blue side, and we'll take the pins out as we sew it. Do 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 do. So what is that song? Do 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 do. I bet that's Lady Gaga. It's a beautiful song. Strangers in the night, something like that. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. La 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 la. Yes. Okay. 1 out of 7. Done. Do 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 do. Okay. Do 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 do. La 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 la. Okay. I wanna keep going. The household has come home. They were out. I went down to find nobody home. Okay. Da da da. Dee dee dee. La 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 la. See, it's gonna pucker there. This is the one where I have to make it work. Stretching the material a little bit. Then the thing I was talking about adding, if I add another one, I'm gonna have to stretch the material 49 inches, stretch an inch within that, and that's a doable thing. So, I mean, that is doable. Do 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 do. I just want to slide this over because we're going to pin it all the way across. Get rid of some of these strings. So, what's going on in you guys' life? I hope it's something good. This is my good thing right now. This is my goal. I have, ouch, some other goals, but this is one of them. So the problem with all these needles is they stab you. But that's okay. So have you guys gone back and listened to any of my other videos? I saw where I had a new subscriber and they stuck around for a little bit and now they're gone. It's probably boring. You have to go back and listen to my other videos from the past. The purpose of my channel was to share my papers that I wrote so long ago. Ouch! Quit stabbing yourself. Anyway, if you go down into my post, there's and scroll, you'll come across a piece of notebook paper with handwriting on it, and that is some of the titles of my papers. So you would take the title and put it in the search bar, write the title just as it's written, and then put on lose touch, because otherwise you won't get it. There's too many people out there posting. So you might not find me unless you say on lose touch, okay? And that's Lou, L-O-U apostrophe S, very important, touch. See, my thumb is stabbed. I stabbed me in the knuckle, and I did that yesterday. And no, it's not something you can really learn, I don't think, because these needles are just everywhere. Because I am doing overkill. If I had clips, I guess I wouldn't have to do that. But see, in this situation, clips wouldn't work, because this is in the middle. I'm going to be binding across two big old layers. There's nothing to clip it to at that point. I could have probably clipped them together when I was doing the long sewing. But for this particular part, those clips would be of no use, because they wouldn't clip to anything. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over. If anybody's paying attention and learning, there is a reason for going to the intersection. I'm going to call it an intersection. So you take these two intersections, and then you make this work in between. And then it keeps it evened out. However, like I said, on that one, I moved the intersection over some because it just wasn't going to work. Ow, 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 ow. Do, 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 do. Strangers in the night. Do, 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 do. La, 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 la. Do, 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 do. Okay, I've got 3 done. I'm going to fold over another one. I want this to be able to roll back here too. Okay. We'll move over. Move over, over. Okay, we're going to go to this next intersection. So you're folding it in half, bringing it into the edge. If you have an inch thing, where's that at? Can't see it. Okay. something happened here. That's the song too. There's something happening here, and it just ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. Everybody look what's going down. There's 1,000 people in the street. They're carrying their signs saying something, hooray for our side, I don't know. Do 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 stop, baby, with the sound. Everybody look what's going round. That's a good one to put on. I don't know the name of it, but Alexa's pretty good at figuring that out. I need an Alexa up here. Just need to buy me one, because you can take it wherever you go. I'm pretty sure it just works off of Wi-Fi. I really don't know about the music thing, though, if you have to pay a subscription or what you have to do. But that's something I should learn, because it's so wonderful. Just tell Alexa, play, and she does. And then she usually knows what it is you want her to play. What a field day for the heat. Do 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 do. There's a man with a gun over there. Ouch. Ouch. See, I keep stabbing myself with these pens. Okay, I'm not sure, but I only got 3 more to go. So I'm going to roll this over. And roll this over. Hopefully. Just have to bunch it up. Right now, see, if I had a bigger table, it'd just be laid out on a table and it'd be a lot easier to do. But I'm doing it with what I got. You know, but like downstairs, there is a lovely big table. So if it was cleaned off, I could use it. Save a lot of backache and stuff like that. Like even in cutting the material. Okie dokie, we're getting there, people. Okay. You fold it in half, and then you fold it over. And you want to make sure you're going over that material, because that's the whole point. See, I didn't do that. I pinned the, because it's kind of fat there. I didn't go down far enough. There. Okay. Yeah, I was talking about peace signs and stuff. I believe they're probably talking about the Vietnam War. Well, a person that wanted to and had the abilities could take a needle and thread and bind all this. you know, stitch it all along. But I will be using my sewing machine. These strings are a mess. Once it's all encased, it'll be wonderful. Shouldn't have to worry about it falling apart. And you want to make sure you've got a good, that you're over the material. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street. I need to cut that off. Take you away. It's amazing how they changed over the years. Hippies. Just peace-loving children. Really, when you look at it, they were children. On a college campus. Expressing their freedom of speech in a peaceful manner. Not being violent and not causing physical damage to property. Just peaceful, saying what they believe about this war, the Vietnam War. And what did our government do? They went into a peaceful demonstration and murdered those kids. Sorry. But then they let all these illegals in, and they did it on purpose, because the minute they hit, they were shipped to different places in buses at our expense, I might add. It's been a plan. Why do we not have resources? Because we're giving them to all these other people who came into the country. Why do we have 16 immunizations going into our babies before they ever leave the hospital? Immigration. Illegal immigration. Because diseases were brought with them. Plus our government, hopefully, is not as bad as it was. Just enticed them, told them to come. We will pay. Come here, we'll take care of you. You can't even take care of your own. So they come and they get all of our resources. They get paid living quarters. They get everything they need. Everything that we should be getting, right? But no, the people who live here, the citizens, can't get any of that. They reserve that for people who don't belong here. You understand what I'm saying? We can't take care of the world no matter how much we try. But we can certainly do it a lot better if they're not in our streets killing our people. Ouch. Because these people don't have a regard for life. They just as soon kill you. And so we have all these people integrating with our people. Their children are going to our schools, bringing their beliefs. I know some of you think I'm sounding pretty bad, but it's the truth, people. It'd be nice to help the world, but it'd be nice if we didn't destroy ourselves doing it. And really, there's a theory that that was a plan. That was the plan. You know, and in one point in time, just put this in your little bonnet, this Thanksgiving deal, I don't know. But in the past, they shipped criminals to the United States. I mean, we're made up of people they shipped away. Well, just send you to the Americas. Haven't you heard that? I've heard that. Okay. So, they do the same thing now. Ship all the criminals here and then blow up America. Just thought. Not a good thought, huh? Okay, so I got to turn this over. We're on the last leg. Finishing up. I got one more to go. I would say in this instance, you should do what I'm doing, even though it's overkill. Pin these babies down. Keep them in their place. And your sewing will be straight. Try to remember to stay on the material. I tend to go off the material a little bit. And sometimes you can't tell where, because, you know, if it's red on red or something, and it's the same type of material, that's not going through. Okay, there. Okay. It's just my goal to get this baby done. And then I can feel good, because I've already started going on to something else. Because I feel like I've got very little time to do what I've got to do. What's the deal? Okay. One more. Yes, I need a bad hair day bonnet. Maybe that's what I could call them. I wonder if I looked that up, if that's what would show up. You know, just cover that stuff up. Like the guys in their ball caps. All right, I'm rolling this baby up one more time. That's so I can give this to me. And it might be what I need to do too. Have it rolled up while I'm sewing it. Interesting. Interesting. I love my quilt. It's a little bright. I can feel that I have a headache. That's what my daughter was saying. She says, I think that's going to bother you. You know, looking down at all the different materials going different ways. And it could bother me. My head hurts right now. Of course, I haven't eaten anything, and that could have something to do with my head hurting. I could take an instant breakfast downstairs and make me one. Okay. I'm almost there. Do, 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 do. Okay. 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 going to be nice, people. Okay, now what we have here is a menagerie. I've got this thing over here. But what I'm going to do is try to, anyway, get this done. What time is it? Oh no! Oh no, no, no! Okay.